So let's talk statins. I'm sure you've heard of what a statin is. You know, a lot of times your doctor is going to recommend you take a statin if your cholesterol gets too high, and then they always tell you, don't eat so much fat, clean up your diet a little bit, and they recommend stop eating fat. Well, it turns out that after 20 years, it's terrible advice. Even the top cardiologist in the world, the paleocardiologist in particular, tells you that's not a good idea, is that fat, we want fat in the body, and your high cholesterol is not coming from fat. The reason they thought it was coming from fat is because if you cut it open, if you cut up an artery, you see these fatty deposits, these fatty cholesterol deposits. So they said, okay, so if the fat's in there, then stop eating the fat and it won't fill up the artery and will prevent people from having heart attacks. It was based, the recommendation was based on a good intent, but we know now it's completely false. But their solution now is not so much to change the recommendation of the diet, is to now take a statin to lower the cholesterol level. Well, now again, after 10, 15 years of prescribing like statins, we know that's not true either. We know it doesn't reduce the risk of heart disease. We know it doesn't reduce the risk of dying early. All it does is cause joint pain and liver dysfunction and other things that are the side effects of the statin. So statins are an old game now. So if you're on a statin or you know or a loved one on a statin, there's a very realistic way to come off of this. And if you have the conversation with your doctor, here's what we recommend you start with, is that one is that you go to your doctor and say, hey, listen, I want to come off my statin. Let's do my blood work. Let's track it over 2 or 3 months. I'll come back in 2 or 3 months. We'll do the blood work again. We'll see if we're in a normal rate. Because all your doctor wants to make sure is he wants to make sure that your levels on your blood work are fine. As long as those are fine, then he's okay with it. They have liability. Unfortunately, we have to practice medicine through liability now, and we have the CYA. So you have the conversation. Don't make them wrong. Say, listen, I want to get off a statin. My joints are hurting. I know it's not good for my health. Whatever reason, let me try this for 90 days. Let me see if I can come off of it. Now, just know this. When you come off the statin, in about 4 to 6 weeks, even in that first 2-month period, your cholesterol may rise up as a pendulum effect from coming off the medication, but it will come back down again. The way you do this, the way you come off a statin, is that you clean the diet up again. You want to get those processed sugars to a minimum. You want to get the good fats into your body. A lot of the reasons why cholesterol does what it does is because when you have a very acidic diet, or your body becomes very acidic, or you have a lot of artificial foods in there, or you have a lot of hydrogenated oils coming in, or you have a lot of things that cause your body to react inflammatory, then you start to get little lesions inside of the artery walls. And cholesterol acts like a spackle, so the body produces cholesterol to help patch up those lesions, and then if you have too many of them, or you have too much cholesterol buildup, then that's what clogs your artery. It's not because you're eating too much fat, it's because your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, and using this cholesterol to kind of spackle these packs, to spackle these spots in the arteries, so they don't bleed out, so you don't get a stroke. Your body's doing exactly what it's supposed to be doing. So by cleaning up the diet, work with a coach, work with a dietitian, work with someone on my team, or Google how to eat a better diet. But you want some real help, work with someone on my team. But what we see over time, it usually takes about 4 to 6 weeks to really get your body and your metabolism to kick back in and start working properly again with good nutrients, with a good strategy. It usually takes about 2 or 3 months to really fully see the impact, where your blood work comes back to normal, your metabolism kicks in, the fat starts to come off, you start to lean out, you start to take more control over how your body is responding to food, because you're more in control of what you're putting into your body. And this is what we do. So if you've ever struggled with this, or you're having challenges with this yourself, then just reach out to me, some of my team. Let us work with you. Whether it's a diabetes type 2 problem, whether it's a cholesterol problem, whether it's a belly fat problem, this is something that we work with all the time. So it's all about getting the right strategy in place, getting the bad foods out, putting the good foods in, getting the timing under control, understanding your portion size, and then having somebody hold you accountable. So if you've been struggling with this, then reach out to us, click the link, come in for a consultation, let's have a chat and see how we can help you.